Hi there. We've reached Psalm 79. This is a tough psalm to read. It's heavy. You can feel the helplessness of the situation. Things are dire. The enemy has pierced through to the very center of Israel's identity. They've entered the temple, they've gone into the sanctuary, ransacked and polluted it. As far as the people of God were concerned, things can't get any worse. Yet in spite of the crisis, Asaph leads the congregation in worship. Things may be at their absolute worst. Even so, God wants you to worship. You may not be able to see any light of the day. Nevertheless, you need to worship. God tells you to worship because you need to worship. You may not feel like worshiping. Your mind might be concentrated on other things. You might be full of anxiety about a situation in your family or in your household or in your personal life or in the world around you. Nevertheless, you need to worship. God wants you to worship because that's the thing that you need to do. And not only that, but the world around you needs you to worship. In various places throughout the world, the church is tormented and tortured. People are martyred every day. In these countries, the saints gather in secret places, in caves and at night, just so that they can worship God. This psalm is written really for them. The Western church that whines and thinks we're suffering when the air conditioning is broken down. What are you going to say when you get to heaven and the martyrs are testifying that they lost their head for the gospel? When they say they were burned at the stake for reading the Bible? And then it comes to your turn when you've got something to say, when you've got to give your testimony, and you stand up and you'll say, somebody said bad things about me. Somebody gossiped about me. And alongside of you are people that have been martyred, have lost their heads and have been tortured and burned at the stake. We whine about somebody not liking us. Consequently, when we in the Western church read the psalm, it's difficult for us to identify with the suffering saints of old. Our brothers and sisters over there in Afghanistan and Qatar and Aceh, they need us to identify with them and to pray with them. They need to know that they're not alone. Paul was constantly trying to steer us toward viewing the church in solidarity. Those who enjoy peace and prosperity have an obligation to pray for and give to and care for those who are suffering in the hope that God may turn their situation around. This is your necessary act of worship. Now in verse 8 and 9 of this psalm it says, "We are at the end of our rope. O God of the breakthrough, come and rescue us." So you've reached the limit and you can't go any further. And all your ingenuity and all your abilities and capabilities have been extended beyond their limits and all your resources have come to an end. What are you going to do? Contrary to all popular opinion, you have not run out of options. You still have worship up your sleeve. Yes. Just like those saints in the persecuted nations who will risk their lives to get together and worship. Worship is the ace up the sleeve of the saint. And it's not just any kind of worship. We're going to worship the God of the breakthrough. Do you need a breakthrough? Do you need a breakthrough? Well, you need to worship the God of the breakthrough. Worship makes a way where there is no way. And God is going to break through He's going to break through to you. He's going to break through in the situation. When you've reached an impasse and there's nowhere to go and there's no way through, then you need to worship, 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 worship. O God of the breakthrough. And that's a little bit of wisdom that comes to us through Psalm 79. Wow. Wow. God bless you. We'll see you again tomorrow where more wisdom will unfold out of the book of worship, that great and mighty book that God has given to us that speaks of the mysterious wisdom of worship, how worship can access to us the mighty power of heaven. God bless you. Have a great day.